All right, we still going, Amanda?
Yeah.
No.
Welcome back to the podcast Redeemed. Michael shopping for arcade games for his new shop.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
I vote for the Pac-Man game, but he's thinking something for basketball. Is that what you said?
I just want to see.
So anyway, we'll see which one that he decides on.
That's why
we'll do a poll.
Can't go there.
My washer.
You don't get laundry. No laundry.
That's been decided. Sorry.
Anyway, we're going to continue on with our story. So last time we talked about being patient, waiting on God's timing. And so the next thing that happens is God takes a pretty front row seat to these next few things, if you will. So we have the three visitors that come and talk to Abraham. Oh, well.
No, he becomes. I guess that's true.
I forgot to add that in the last one.
He is now Abraham, officially.
The last covenant, their names got changed to Sarah and Abraham.
Yeah.
So we have Abraham and Sarah now. Three visitors come. And little does Abraham know that they're basically sent there from God to have a conversation with him once again. I mean, look at this. Just having conversations with God all the time. Or at least some of his messengers. You know what I'm saying?
It's facts.
It's like, it would be nice. And he says, what? You're going to have a kid. Of course, Sarah overhears it, and she laughs. Very, very famous part of the story. Sarah laughs. Okay? Now, the best part is
messed up, A.A. Ron.
He done messed up, A.A. Ron. Now, the part that I find interesting and kind of hilarious is that she thinks she can laugh, and that these guys won't know about it. I mean, these guys were sent by God. Of course, they know. And what do they think?
Yeah, these tents are soundproof.
Yeah. And so they ask Abraham, why is Sarah laughing? Which, once again, you wonder, did Abraham share any of his visions?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it ever says if he.
Because I'm thinking no. Or she thought this guy is a lucid dreamer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that could be. Because, I mean, he just had the conversation. He said you're going to name the kid what? Isaac.
Right.
I mean, you know what's going to happen.
Gave you the name, bro.
Yeah. And even said by this time next year, you're going to have a kid.
I truly, the more I read this, I think that he just was like, yeah, she'll figure it out.
But also when you're that old.
He forgot.
Not what I was thinking.
Not necessarily wrong, but... Yeah, and it says right here, and then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. Now, she was listening. Of course, she laughed. And Sarah was afraid. And so then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, will I really have a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son.
Abraham had to be like, I don't know why she laughed.
I don't either.
Go ask her.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have a conversation when this is all done. I'll guarantee you that.
Ask her.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh.
And see, all of this to me is just showing God's power. Mm-hmm. God didn't give it to them when they were young. Right. He gave them to it when they were old. And I think all of it is just steps to the Lord saying, look, I am doing this. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a fact.
Right. And Sarah was afraid, of course, so what does she do?
She lies.
He said, I did not laugh. But he said, yes, you did.
Liar.
That yes, you did laugh must have hit hard.
Yeah. And that's where it ends.
But that's why I'm saying it must have hit hard.
I mean, it's like
that's a fade to black movie over.
You laughed.
Yes.
Like,
you did.
Yeah. Ugh. Chilling.
Well, it's part of it is too is I mean you're talking to God right now, okay, and you just basically called him
a liar. You don't know what you're talking about.
And he's like,
I think you're losing it a little.
Not happening. Yes, you did laugh. So that kind of wraps up the story with Abraham and Sarah and fixing to have a kid.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to take a jump. Like I said, God's got a front row in a lot of all this.
Yeah.
And we're going to go look at this town called Sodom and Gomorrah. Another very famous story in the Bible. Mostly because you get to see God's destructive power firsthand.
Get God's wrath.
I guess that's a good way to put it, too. I mean, we saw his wrath with the flood.
Yeah.
Which was just as devastating. Mm-hmm. But there's something about the way he basically levels.
He kept his promise. He did not flood.
Yeah,
No.
Sodom nor Gomorrah.
Yeah.
No. But there was not much left of it when he was done, if
No.
anything.
That's a fact.
Okay. So now we jump over to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. There's a few things leading up to that. Abraham pleads for Sodom.
Yeah.
And basically they can't even find 40 people that are righteous in that town. Okay? And the Lord, and basically Abraham is talking to him, says, hey, can we at least get my cousin Lot out of there? And so 2 angels arrived in Sodom, and that evening Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city, and when he saw them, he got up to meet them, bowed down with his face, and I wonder if he knew they were angels, or they were just people approaching. You know, I don't know if he maybe had some...
Abraham?
No, Lot.
Oh, Lot. I got you.
Yeah, because we're jumping down to 19.
I'm with you now.
Okay?
Yep. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't understand. I don't know. I don't think so.
Probably not. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house so you can wash your feet and spend the night and then go on your way early in the morning. Now, what happens after this point is very interesting. And they answered, no, we will spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, where are the men that came with you, because we want to have sex with them.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a town that's gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they've just completely gone off the deep end.
Literally.
Well, and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we could spend... Yeah, it's bad.
Yep.
And eventually the angels... Because basically, it gets to the point where they're about to break down the door. And the men, the angels, or whoever it is the Lord sent there, strikes them all with blindness.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. And what does he say? He says, and then they tell him to what? To hurry. Take your wife, your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when this city is punished.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the Lord said, no, we're done.
Time for you guys to go.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure how righteous Lot was at this point. You know what I'm saying? But
righteous enough that he was trying to stop the guys.
That's true. So he did have some sense of...
But yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't know. We don't really get a picture of that.
But he knew there were some things that were wrong and this couldn't take place.
Correct.
And so he was trying to help these men. Now, I think also because he was a cousin of Abraham also is the reason why they were...
I thought he was his nephew.
Nephew, excuse me. It is nephew. I said cousin. His nephew, yes. His nephew also played into the part of them trying to get Lot out of the city. So, what do we got? So, God's fixing to destroy the city. He came in and found that the city is...
It's going down.
It's going down. There's nothing much to save there. He tells Lot, grab your wife, grab your 2 daughters, and you better run.
Trying to get the son-in-laws, too.
Yeah, and the son-in-laws thought he was just joking around.
Yeah.
Yep. But,
peace out.
And so away they go.
Yep.
And one of the things is that they weren't even supposed to look back. That's one of those famous things.
Yep.
Dude, he's very clear.
Do not look back.
Do not look back.
Flee for your
Don't
lives.
stop anywhere in the plain.
Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away.
And now, to me, this is one of those times where I feel like there's urgency here, and the Lord is laying this out. And if there's at one point you need to listen, it's that moment.
Yeah.
Well, he negotiates.
Get to that mountain.
Well, he negotiated.
Well, he negotiated because he didn't think he could make it that far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so
I know that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As you just read here, he's like, we're not making it to that
That's
mountain.
really far away.
No, I'm just not in that good shape. I can't.
What does he actually say? He says, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you've shown great kindness, but I can't flee to the mountains. The disaster will overtake me, and I'll die. Here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Guys, look how small it is. I'll go there. It is small. And they agreed. I'll grant you this request. I will not overthrow the town you speak of.
Yeah. But flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. And this is why that town was called Zor. I don't know what Zor means, but there you go.
It's a cool name.
Zor means small. That's literally what it means.
Yep.
So that's why they call it that.
There you go.
By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar.
And she was a wife no more.
She became a pillar of salt.
That is simply a fact.
But, it would have been super hard, though, not to turn around.
Not to look, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that I wouldn't have also been a pillar of salt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? I know myself.
Yeah.
I might
What
have
is
screwed
going
up.
on back there?
I gotta know.
Yeah.
But I also find it interesting, too, because he didn't start, because it almost sounds like he didn't start to destroy it
Until he got to the town.
until he got to the town.
Because he told them that you have to get
You
there.
can't do anything until you're there.
So I wonder why he didn't want them to look back, and I don't know. That's one of those things I wanted to ask God when we get there.
Yeah. That
What
might
was
have
the
been
point of
just
that?
something as simple as it's a rule.
Yeah.
I told you not to.
Yeah.
And
Well, and why are you looking back? I mean, you're done with that.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have multiple stories throughout the Bible where people who either lied to God or didn't do what they told them, and
Didn't work
that
out
was
well.
it. You know what I'm saying? Ananias and Sapphira, they came in,
this
lied about what they
is
did.
the amount of
Dead.
money we got, God.
Yeah.
Is it really? And you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Israelites, back when they come out of Egypt, they're grumbling and complaining. God just opens up the earth and gobbles them up. You know what I'm saying?
We're not doing that.
I can't listen to this anymore.
I mean, so whenever you decide not to do what God says,
There's consequences.
and sometimes they're quick consequences.
Yes.
Now, sometimes
Might be a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
That is fast.
Yeah, that's fast. And sometimes, though, God seems to let the choices we make, even though we disobey, to play its course. And so
Yeah.
we have those natural consequences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But there are other times where it is instantaneous. And God's like, nope, we're done.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that seemed like it was one of those. She turned around. I told you not to. You no longer have.
You are now salt.
Yeah, you're a salt.
Yep.
All right. And then, of course, later on, or the next morning, Abraham got up, returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, towards all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Now, once again, I think it's also neat to talk about, to point out that what Lot chose as the direction he wanted to go was the plains where all the people were, where the cities were. Where did Abraham go? More into the wilderness.
Yep.
Where he was more by himself. Yep. So that choice that Lot made may have had a lot to do with where he was at that particular point.
It's very possible.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because he looked out and saw the fertile, the grass, the nice. Well, of course there's going to be people there because it's the best place to go.
Better land.
Yeah. And Abraham, who was completely separated from it all because he chose this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mountain country.
Yep. So there is also something to at least in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like when you're part of a bigger group of people, it seems like more things
Go wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Where if you're off by yourself doing your own things, it's easier to follow the Lord. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where if you're together with a bunch of people, especially if some of those people don't follow the Lord, they can be a negative influence on you. Which I think that happened. Which I think that happened with Lot too. You know what I'm saying? I think when he was hanging out with Abraham, he was way more focused on God. But
Didn't we talk about this?
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, at some point.
Didn't we? No, we talked about this with Noah.
Oh, it's possible.
Because it was talk. Well, I only remember that because it talked about how in the highly condensed cities.
Yeah, we did kind of. Yeah.
No, it was just funny because that was literally.
Yeah.
You're right though.
Yeah.
And it happens over and over again throughout the Bible, but this just seems to me it's just one of those.
It has to do with distractions.
Yeah.
If you're off by yourself, if you're out living out in the mountains,
Yeah.
what are you distracted by?
Well, it's kind of like also, like when we go on a mission trip, When you're singularly focused on the Lord and doing His thing, it's amazing how that you have that relationship changes. Because all you're doing is focus on that.
Right.
Then as soon as you get back, all the things of the world pile onto you again, and once again, it's not right there in front of you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just something to it. So anyway, I think that played a part in this. But what we're trying to pull out of this and make it applicable for us is that at some point God does have a limit to how far He's willing to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at some point, if you go back to that prayer that Abraham had with God, he just asked for 10 people. He ended with 10. He said, for 10 people, would you spare this city? They couldn't find 10.
It was a big city.
It was a big city.
Yeah.
Well, later on, there's another story with Jerusalem, and he asked for one.
One person.
And they couldn't find one.
Yeah, that's tough business.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the lesson here for us is that we need to be that salt and that light in the place where we live.
Be the one.
Okay. I'm not sure that God's like, okay, Longview, if I can find 10 righteous people, I'm not going to destroy it.
Yeah.
But my hope would be is that there's more than 10 people here that are following the Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of what we've been called to do. We're called to stand in that gap. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're to be the salt and the light for the world. Because once that light's gone out, you have exactly what you see here in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what you see there, if you read that, of all that nasty stuff that was going on, that's exactly what happens when you take God's light completely out of it.
Yeah, you get darkness in the world.
That's it.
You get darkness, literally.
Yep. And every thought of man is evil. And it just,
That's a fact.
so we have to be the salt and light basically in our towns and in our homes and in our churches, because God's looking for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to be the 10. We have to be the 40. We have to be the 50 or whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have to be the righteous. We have to be holding the line. Because the minute we don't,
it spirals, and a downward spiral is a very fast spiral.
yes, it is. So there's just a warning there to us that, first of all, if God says run, you better run.
Yeah.
If He says don't look back, don't look back.
Look back.
Okay?
Salty.
Yeah, otherwise it could be salty. And second of all is we have to be the salt and light in the towns and in the homes and the places where we live.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we are what is standing in the gap. Because if they had been able to find 10 people, Sodom and Gomorrah might still be there today.
Yeah.
But it also shows that God is a God of justice, and at some point there is a limit to when she says,
We're done.
We're done.
Never mind. We'll try again.
Yeah.
Let's you will literally push the reset button on your city, country, world.
Sometimes that scares me, because sometimes I don't know how many considered righteous people there are in America anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't pushed the reset button on us yet.
Yeah.
So
you people stay in your Bibles.
let's not get reset here.
Yeah, I don't want the sulfur coming from heaven. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.